everyone, and welcome to India Sports Space Talks.
The world is not black and white. There's a lot of gray, and you need to be able to operate in that gray. As you grow in organizations, when you're dealing with different stakeholders, government, everybody else.
Today we have with us Deepthi Bupaya, Executive Director of Go Sports Foundation, a non-profit venture working towards the development of India's top talent in Olympic and Paralympic disciplines through athlete scholarships and knowledge building programs. Today we discuss growth drivers for Olympic success in India. Let's get started. All right, so Deepthi, welcome to the podcast. Take us through your transition from working for a financial entity like HSBC to now leading the development for sports with Go Sports Foundation.
So I've just completed 7 years in Go Sports and just stepped into my eighth. So it's quite amazing, the ride. When I think of how we how I even decided to move from the bank to here. I was giving myself actually a year, and I thought, okay, if this is a good idea, I'll stay for a year and see how this works. And I think it's the best decision I've taken in my life, and it just feels like there's a purpose every day, and you're trying to move something and change something in the ecosystem. And you see, over the last 7 years, I've seen almost close to 500 athletes who we've directly been part of their journeys, and in whatever way, small way. So that's been special. The bank was a very, very different world, I think, but it gave me the base, it gave me the understanding of the corporate world. It taught me a lot of systems, processes, uh, aspects on quality and audit and things which I think have helped me implement in Go Sports. So I think it was a very, very critical phase of my career, and I'm very grateful for the 3 stints that I had in HSBC.
Rightly. So, Go Sports Foundation runs various programs on creating support for athletes. Could you take us through how it's leveraging its verticals to facilitate them?
So I think broadly our verticals, we run athlete management programs. That's what we do. From the start, we've had scholarships that we give out to athletes who apply for our scholarships right from 2012, when we actually launched our scholarships. So an athlete can apply and then go through our interview process, go through our selection process, and then we will shortlist athletes. A large part of it earlier was based on the budget we had at hand, and it was a lot to do with friends and family, and just well wishers and passionate sports people who actually contributed to our journey in our early days. But since 2013, since the corporate social responsibility, that has come in, the act that has come in has hugely benefited the Indian sports sector. I think today we're actually able to reach out to various corporates and companies and partners and get money to our athlete development programs. So our programs are split across. In the disability space, we have the Para Champions program. This is picking up young, talented athletes who are differently abled and working with them towards the Asian Games, Commonwealth, World Championships, and ultimately the Paralympics. Very similarly, we have the Rahul Dravid Athlete Mentorship Program. That is really using Rahul's expertise and mentorship in some sense for these athletes who are in the tipping point of getting to the Olympics. And then we have a long-term athlete development program because we're working with a mission of 2024 Paris. So we've started working them from Rio, an 8-year cycle. Then we also have a program called Stars of Tomorrow. We always have been working in the Olympic Paralympic space, but this is the first program we ventured into sports which are not part of the Olympics. So we've picked up sports like squash for the first time, and we're seeing a lot of results over there. So I think Go Sports is really an organization which runs athlete development programs, And the athletes that we work with, we believe are we try to help them become change makers in their respective sport. It could be either in terms of giving back to their sport, inspiring younger kids to take up the sport, and just propelling that sport forward more than anything else. So I think that's what we do, and that's where we believe is our larger social impact, because sport is one of those few things where there are no shortcuts, and you have to go all the way, and it's quite brutal. At the end of it, you may not get that medal. So it's really part of the journey, and we're just trying to make that journey as smooth as possible.
And we often, I think, notice that we miss sort of the post-retirement career of athletes. So is this something that Go Sports Foundation also helps with, that the transition that athletes need to make from their playing days to their post-playing days?
Yeah, I think today parents are far more supportive of sporting careers to a large extent, at least in the cities, in the metros. So a lot of parents are okay with athletes dropping off school and doing open schooling or just going in for their exams. But we feel actually it's a huge challenge, because a large part of our growing and social skills and everything that we develop is in schools. So we actually conceptualize something called as the athlete education workshops that all our athletes go through. This is just to make them a professional individual, human being, while they are in their sport and beyond their sport as well. It could be as basic as how to write emails, how to respond to emails, how to be professional, how do you fill up your forms. This could be about just physiology, this could be about nutrition, this could be about how do I sign a legal contract. It's not just about money being on the table, but it's really about what are you committing to, because you're taking that money, and just making them aware, making them more responsible, and getting them to understand that, very, very few people in the world actually get to becoming top 10 in the world, right? And some of them are top 10 in the world. And you have a huge responsibility, because there are so many people actually looking up to you. So what you say, what you do is very, very critical. So we also were doing some work with the BCCI, and we did workshops for the under 19 boys, and we did workshops for the women's cricket team. It could be team building exercises, it could be having open, honest communications, it could be just sharing feedback. So it's really everything to get you to live in the real world, I would say. So it's not really specific to their sport, because I think they already have a large part of it. But if someone is inclined towards sports science, or they want to do something more in that field, or sports psychology, we have a shooter called Anjum, who's already got her quota for the Olympics, a very, very supremely talented shooter, painter, and a sports psychologist. So she's really multitasking in every way. So, just also helping them, guiding them to get to the next level, even managing their finances. Most of them have no idea once the prize money comes where the money goes. So how do you invest that money? But giving them access and creating awareness, I think that's what our job is. We don't recommend, or we don't say you have to work with this person or this person. We have a set of experts in all these areas and fields, and they tie up, come and do various workshops, and then it's up to the athlete to, if they feel the need to reach out, then we present them with the different options, and then they can take it forward. But our job in athlete education is primarily to make them aware.
That makes sense, absolutely. And now to this question that I've been waiting to ask you: how's the road to Tokyo unfolding?
I think it's very, very exciting. I think as a nation, we are far more prepared than what we've been in the past. Obviously, even if you just look at few sports, and if you take shooting, for example, sitting with 15 quotas after a 4-year Olympic cycle is brilliant. And these are youngsters, these are 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds who are actually got the quota. So it's fabulous in terms of what the federation has done, organizations like us have done, different experts have come together, coaches have come together. And if we can all just, work together and collaborate, there's so much that you can do. And, and take that sport forward. So I'm very excited about the Olympics and the Paralympics. I think not going to talk about medals, but I think the athletes are at the best form, and we have to make sure they retain that form so that they can deliver at the Olympics. That's the most important aspect in terms of periodization and helping that. Also, I was in Tokyo last August because one of the things that always happens is today the federation, the Indian Olympic Association, the ministry, they're doing some fantastic work in terms of systems, processes, logistics, operations. But we felt that there are a lot of the smaller aspects, which is as basic as culture, in terms of Tokyo and India, culture sensitization, getting them to understand how the world there is, preparing them from a acclimatization, weather standpoint. Food obviously is taken care of in the village, but littering, the automation in Tokyo is actually quite a bit. Even basic day-to-day activities can seem like a challenge if you don't know how to use things. So, just preparing them on these aspects. So we did Reiki there and were able to understand all of that, and we'll be slowly disseminating this to the entire contingent. So I'm very excited about that project, and we'll be working with the ministry. The minister himself is very excited about this project and has agreed to launch this officially for the entire contingent, and actually do workshops for the contingent, for the officials, for the coaches, and just get them far more prepared and know what to expect.
Has data and tech played a role at all in preparation of these athletes?
Yeah, I think a lot of technology today. I think just from basic analyzing your sleep to how much water you're having, and basic hydration aspects. So we internally have an athlete monitoring software that we've got. It's an Australian software that we've piloted about 2 years ago. And now it's available to most of our athletes, and it really helps with periodization. It helps with just understanding wellness. So even it captures just how they're feeling that particular day, and then we're able to draw a graph out of that. Mental health is very, very critical and crucial. So how are they feeling generally as well, both physically? Fatigue is very easy to understand, but from the mind perspective, how are you? Are you even thinking about how you're feeling? And I think that's becoming hugely important. I think the awareness is growing, and we're having very, very open conversations with our athletes about this. So it's been interesting. If you see Abhinav Bindra's center as well, what he has is really world class. It's something that he swears by. He trained himself, and he's seen results. So a lot of athletes even having access to centers, world class equipment, and to train on that, or just for your balance and stability and recovery and rehab. I think it's very, very exciting. So yes, it's there, but long way to go.
And that brings me to just the topic of Youth Olympics in general. We've been performing really well at the Youth Games. So we went from 2 medals, I think, in 2014 to about 13 medals in 2018. So does this give us more reasons to be optimistic, and how do you plan to create that structure or blueprint to incorporate that budding talent?
I think it's very exciting because that just shows the amount of talent and the age at which our talent is available. So if we can actually nurture them, there's so much results that you see. And Youth Olympics is a very big deal. I mean, winning medals there is exceptional. I think what is also interesting to note is the kind of sports that we won our medals in. Shooting, race walking. We have one of the race walkers who actually won a medal there. So it's very interesting to see the diversity of sports. Because if you actually look at the Olympic medal tally, I think more than 50% of the events we don't even participate in. So it's important to inculcate the diversity in the youth Olympic games, and then you can help them transition. So our long-term athlete development program is exactly for that. It is aligned primarily from a Youth Olympics perspective, and then eventually for the Paris Olympics, because that's how we've broken it up and structured.
And with respect to the Olympics and otherwise, is Go Sports Foundation facilitating coaches and mentors in any way?
Yeah. So we are, we have a long way to go in terms of giving enough expertise and opportunities to our coaches. I think a lot of credit has to go to coaches for all the medalists that we've had, all the performances that we've had, and getting these opportunities with whatever information and access they have, they've produced these results. However, it's very critical to invest back into the coaches, help them grow, learn, because Gopichand always says this to us: when you support an athlete, you're supporting only one athlete. But if you support one coach, you can support 100 athletes. So we actually did the coaches program a few years ago in badminton, where we were trying to get the next generation of coaches as well. Again, from a transition standpoint, lots of top athletes also transitioning into coaches. But how do you make that whole aspect smoother? I think as a foundation, we've also done a lot of coach education workshops where we've got top coaches to come and just talk to different junior coaches and share their experiences and just let them know that these are things that you will go through and these are normal challenges, and they faced it with their athletes. So, we've had coaches like Vijay Divecha in golf, who's Anirban's coach, Chikka Rangapa's former coach. We've had, Nihar Amin. We've had Vimal Kumar, Gopi. We've had all these people who've actually shared their experiences to younger coaches, and that program went on for some time in Bangalore. But I think it's time to really open it up and see how we can make that a slightly larger national platform. Just knowledge sharing among coaches also is very, very critical. So I think once you give them that knowledge, then understand what the gaps are, what the needs are, and then help them grow would be exciting. I would love to start a coach scholarship at some point. If we can convince a corporate to do that, I would love to, start that, because if they get an opportunity to go abroad, stay there, learn, come back and implement it, I think we'll see so many more champions. What we do at Go Sports is every time an athlete goes for an international stint, we try our best to also send the coach, if he can go, because the other concern is also their commitments currently in India with the other batches and other students. So they can't just take off with one student. So those are those challenges that we need to, manage.
Absolutely. And lastly, what's been your biggest takeaway as a mentee, and what advice would you now give as a mentor?
I've actually been very fortunate to have some great mentors. I've had an executive coach, Girish Manimaran from Stillwater Consulting, who's been absolutely incredible. And I think one of the things he's always mentioned in his discussions is you should just share what you feel, and you should just put it out there and let people know what you're thinking, how you're thinking. Don't worry about the results, and don't worry about how that is going to impact what you're doing, because you're coming from a place of good intention. So if your intentions are good, just put it out there and it will come through. I'm mentoring a few youngsters doing some incredible work. In fact, I'm learning more from them than probably they from me. But I always tell them that just put it out there and see, explain it, tell it from your place, and then see what comes up. Apart from that, Unmish is also a mentor of mine, Unmish Parthasarthi, and he's also part of our steering committee. He has been amazing in the sense of being a mentor, of just guiding, pushing all boundaries in some sense, and not limiting ourselves, thinking global, pushing your way to say that you are a global organization. I think that's something that he's always helped me do. I think my managing trustee, Nandan Kamath, he's really the co-founder and the visionary in some sense of Go Sports, and he's always set the bar so high in terms of having a vision and then, giving that free hand of allowing you to put in the systems and structures and, being there to help you and guide you. So I think that format of mentorship is also very, very unique.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more such insights on the business of sports in India.